We are going to be having a look at substitution. So substitution in algebra requires us to replace the variables that we are working with specific values. So if A equals 2, B equals 1, and C equals 5, all we need to do is whenever we see an A, we replace it with a 2. When we see a B, we replace it with a 1. And when we see a C, we replace it with a 5. Right, so A, B, C is equal to A times B times C. We need to remember that firstly. And then A times B times C, if we plug our A in, we've got 2 multiplied by our B is 1 and multiplied by our C, which is 5. We end up with 2 multiplied by 1, which is 2, and 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. So the value of A, B, C, when A is equal to 2, B is equal to 1, and C is equal to 5, will give us 10. Let's have a look at number 2. We have got A plus B plus C. So remember that A plus B plus C, we cannot simplify anymore because they are unlike terms, but now when we are substituting, we will be able to bring it down to a final answer because we have values for each of these variables. So we know that A is equal to 2, so we've got 2 plus B is 1, so we plus our 1, and C is equal to 5. This now gives us a value of 2 plus 1, which is 3, plus 5 gives us an answer of 8. Right, let's have a look at number 3. We've got 2A plus 3B plus 4C. Now we need to remember that 2A is equal to 2 times A, and then we plus 3B, which is equal to 3 times B, and then we plus 4C, which is equal to 4 times C. Right, so 2A will not be equal to 22. You do not just take this value of A and plug it in there to make our value 22. You need to really remember that 2A is equal to 2 multiplied by A. Right, so now we plug our values in. So 2 multiplied by A is 2 multiplied by 2. And then we plus 3 multiplied by B, which is 1. So 3 multiplied by 1. And then 4 multiplied by C, which is 4 multiplied by 5. And we're plussing that. Right, now we just need to work out the values of each of these. So we've got 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 times 5 is 20. So we end up with 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 20 is 27. Let's have a look at this example when the values of our variables are a little bit more difficult because they now have negative numbers, negative values. So when we are working with substitution that involves integers and negative numbers, we just need to be that much more careful when we are working out the value of what we are working with. Right, so let's have a look at a squared. If a is equal to negative 4, we need to plug our negative 4 in there and we square that. We are then plussing 2 multiplied by a multiplied by c, which is equal to 2 multiplied by a, which is negative 4, multiplied by c, which is negative 1. And we are then minusing 3b. So in our brackets, we put the value of b, which is 3, and we cube that value. Right, now we need to work very carefully. So we've now substituted all our values in. We are now just simply working with integers. So we need to remember all our rules when we are working with integers. So remember that -4 squared is equal to -4 times by -4. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. We are then working with +2 multiplied by -4 multiplied by -1. +2 times by -4 is -8. -8 times by -1 is +8. And then we are working with -3 multiplied by 3 cubed. We know that 3 cubed is equal to 27. So now we need to say -3 multiplied by +27. A negative multiplied by a positive is a negative. And then we say 3 times 27, which gives us an answer of 81. We then work from left to right. So +16 plus 8 will give us an answer of +24. And then we minus 81. So we then get an answer of +24 minus 81. Because our minus belongs to the number with the bigger number, we know that our answer is going to be a minus. So the difference between 81 and 24 is 57. So our final answer is -57. Let's have a look at this second example using the same values for A, B, and C. So 9bc minus 4c squared plus 7ab, we simply need to plug the values of our variables in. So we've got 9b, which is equal to 3, and c is -1. Then our minus 4 in brackets my c, which is -1, and I need to square that, plus 7a, which is -4, and b, which is 3. Right. Now I just need to work very carefully now that I've substituted all my correct values in. So remember, 9 multiplied by 3 multiplied by -1, we have got positive values there. So +9 multiplied by +3 is +27. +27 multiplied by -1 is -27. I now deal with my -4 multiplied by -1 squared. So we need to first deal with -1 squared. -1 times -1 will give us a value of +1. And we multiply -4 by +1 to get -4. Then we work with +7 multiplied by -4 multiplied by +3. So positive times a negative times a positive will give us positive times a negative is a negative, and a negative times a positive is a negative. So we're going to have an answer that will be a negative value. Then we say 7 multiplied by 4 is 28, and 28 multiplied by 3 will give us an answer of 84. So we have now got -27 minus 4 minus 84, and that will give us a final answer of -115. And how we can work that out is, because all our values are negative, we know that our answer will also be negative, because we are going from -27 further back into our negatives 4 spaces, and then further back into our negatives 84 spaces. So we'll definitely have a negative answer, and then you can simply add those values together and you will get 115.